This is the age of something I call the personal clinical trial. I introduced this idea in my new Undoctored book, Undoctored: Why Healthcare Has Failed You and How You Can Become Smarter Than Your Doctor. And I'm going to explore this further in Undoctored online conversations, the Undoctored Facebook page, but especially Undoctored Inner Circle. The personal clinical trial is something that's only now easily, readily possible on a fairly large scale and very quickly by you, by me, by anybody interested in health questions. Let's say, for instance, you wonder whether vitamin D, restoration of vitamin D and reversal of vitamin D deficiency, has a beneficial effect on ankylosing spondylitis, which is a crippling disorder, genetically programmed, that causes bad back pain and stiffness. People can't bend, they can't twist normally, and they become progressively incapacitated. Well, you've heard some online conversations or perhaps some anecdotes that there may be a beneficial effect, and you want to know for a fact because you've got it, say. So you organize some people online, maybe 20 people, 25, 30, 40 people, something like that, and you agree to some basic ground rules. Let's say, for instance, you all agree that you're going to take 10,000 units per day as a vitamin D oil-based gel cap. You may or may not get a blood level at the start and the end. And then you rate your stiffness and pain. Maybe you do something like this. Back pain, 0, no pain. 10, severe incapacitating pain at the start. And then again at the end of your agreed period, let's say 90 days. Or stiffness, 0, no stiffness. 10, severe stiffness and incapacitation. So all of you agree to do this. One person, of course, or group of you organize the basic rules. They're very basic. And then you enter your data, 0, and then day 90. You could even get interval data, like day 30, 60, as well as 90. And at the end of the period, you collect the data of, let's say, 30 participants, what happened to their pain and stiffness, and maybe their blood vitamin D level. And then you average those levels, and you have a result. I predict you'll get a positive result because I've seen it happen. But you'll have an answer. Now, the medical system hasn't performed this study yet, but you can do it, and you can have a pretty good indication of whether there's a beneficial effect. Imagine another question. Maybe you want to know if fish oil supplementation reduces your resting heart rate because you've got a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, or perhaps you use what I use, which is an Oura, O-U-R-A ring, which tracks my heart rate, including during sleep. And you all agree to take a certain dose of fish oil, a certain dose of EPA and DHA for, let's say, 6 weeks. And then you check your heart rate at the beginning and then at 6 weeks. Maybe you agree to specific rules, like maybe you're going to use the lowest heart rate that occurs during sleep, when the lowest heart rate tends to occur, at the beginning and at 6 weeks. And then you compare in the people who are participating, 25, 30, 50, whatever, people who are participating, and you'll get an answer. Do you see the power in this? You and I can develop questions and then obtain answers very quickly. We might not have a placebo control, and it won't be blinded, of course, but you can get a pretty good indication on objective measures as well as subjective measures whether there's an indication of benefit. Now, we can do this on our own because we're not using drugs that have toxic side effects. And side effects that need to be treated with other drugs, for instance. We're using benign agents like nutritional supplements that serve deficiency or have other effects. We're not using procedures. We're not doing exploratory laparotomy or frontal lobotomies. We're just using very benign agents that are available to all of us to answer common, perhaps some occasional uncommon questions. You know, this has already been done. We started to do this about 8, 9 years ago, but had some difficulty keeping people engaged. But now I think it's a better time because now people are much more inclined to do these kinds of things. Now we have better online platforms to keep people engaged and interested in re-entering their data over time. But there's a website called patientslikeme.com that's devoted to neurodegenerative disorders like Lou Gehrig's disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is a crippling disease with progressive neurological impairment. There was an anecdotal report that the drug, lithium carbonate, may have positive effects. Well, about 150 people on this website wanted to know, was this true? So they organized on their own, not with a drug company, not with doctors, on their own. They all obtained lithium carbonate, took it. Now, it turned out that it didn't work. But that finding was then corroborated by several drug companies at the cost of tens and tens of millions of dollars. They corroborated what the crowd had proven, these everyday people who just wanted to know. That was a negative outcome, but imagine there's going to be positive outcomes. Now, that was a drug. We're not going to use drugs, of course. We're going to use nutritional supplements and perhaps other simple, natural tools. Think of the number of health answers we can get and the rapidity we can get them at, especially as more and more of us begin to engage in this idea of a personal clinical trial. So I hope you now understand why I say the most exciting answers in health are not going to be coming from hospitals, doctors, drug companies, or the medical device industry, or specialized laboratories. It's going to come from us, because we can develop ideas and answers very quickly, much more quickly, at the cost of almost nothing. So stay tuned to this Undoctored conversation through the Undoctored social media, Undoctored Inner Circle, Undoctored Connect, and of course the basis for this described in the Undoctored book, to watch where this exciting world of personal clinical trial is going.